Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 74 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekend edition again, and in today's chapter, you're going to see how to frame a shop teacher. So, if you want to see how that's done, all you got to do is stay tuned. Well, okay, framing a shop teacher, well, okay, how it's done in this shop is like this. YouTube kind of wants you to use those clickbaity titles, and I don't like doing it, but apparently it helps with viewership, so we'll see how it is. It's cheesy, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. So anyway, today what we're going to do is I'm going to install this router base plate into my side support for my table saw. This is my my Unisaw, my 5-horse Unisaw that I'm so proud of, and I'm going to put this plate in here. Now, the last video I showed you that there's going to be a unifence mounted on the side here. And one of the reasons I'm taking on this project now is this week I had 2 evenings where I had meetings with people who have kept their kids out of the school system but would like an IA experience for them anyway. So we're going to be having students in my shop again, probably after the October Thanksgiving weekend in Canada. That's when it is. And I just need to get some of this stuff off the floor and cleaned up better. Get some of the clutter off the floor, which will make the shop safer, and that's what we all want. So anyway, today there's lots of videos on putting router plates in, lots of them. I watched a couple of them, but one thing that this plate has, I ordered this, I think this is from Amazon. I ordered this, boy, at least a year ago, at least. But it's not this thick all the way through, but it's got nice heft to it, and that's what I wanted. Now, anytime you put a router plate into a piece of MDF, well, this is melamine, you're not going to have a totally true flat surface. I don't care who you are. The only way you have that is with cast or with steel like I have in that corner. So these, I understand there's going to be a little bit of deflection and stuff in these, but I think I can work with that. So anyway, this is going to go in. I made a frame. I hadn't planned on making this complete. This is just scraps of MDF I ripped to about 3 inches wide and put together on butt joints with hot glue because I do want to be able to take it apart if I need to. And I actually had to put radiuses in the corners. Normally you wouldn't. Like, for example, if I could have used, oh, this is a heavy router. This router with this 1.125" diameter bearing pattern router, I wouldn't have had to put anything in the corner because when the bearing hit the other side, it would have left that perfect radius. But this, because of the corners on this one being as radiused as they are, I needed to come up with another solution. So what I did is I didn't have another pattern bit, and I wanted something with the bearing on the top of the cutter. So I looked at Lee Valley, and we were heading into the city on Thursday anyway, so I thought, okay, well, okay, I could spend, I don't know, what was it, $35, $40 on a cutter very much like this. So, but then I got thinking, and I realized that I always carry a supply of bearings for the various router bits that I have. And it just so happened that I had a bearing with a 1/2 inch outside diameter and a 1/4 inch inside. Maybe if I bring it up here, you can kind of see that. Okay, and all I did was press this bearing onto the router bit, the shaft. And it works. I think it's going to work good. I haven't used it yet. So if there's netted in this video and all of a sudden I'm using a different color bit and everything's working well, you know that something messed up. But I'm quite confident with this. So we're going to give that a try. So with a bit found that's going to work, I have my pattern a wee bit tight. Like this doesn't slide into there. It's very close. Um, I think when it's all said and done, it's going to, but I'd rather have it a little bit small than too big, because too big you can't fix. Well, maybe you can, but yeah, you can. I shouldn't say you can't. I can think of a way right now I could fix it, but that's a lot of extra work. So I'm going to clamp this on. Oh, by the way, one thing I didn't mention, I did mark this out. This is drawn exactly on here. It's parallel and all that stuff. Another thing that's going to go in here eventually is a little bit of track where I can slide a miter gauge in and use this for whether it's coping ends for a raised panel door or whatever, it'll be usable. So, and that big router is going to go in it. So that's the plan. And we're going to start, I'm going to start by putting this pattern onto here, and then we're going to route the first round around the outside, and I'll bring you back for that. All right, not to bore you, because I'm kind of slow at putting double side tape on. I put 2 layers on here. This is fairly thin tape, and the surface of my table isn't perfectly flat, and maybe a little bit of dust on it too. So once one layer doesn't want to hold it. So we got 2 on now. Let's see how it sticks. And if it sticks, then we are going to start routing. Come on. That side isn't very good, but I think the rest of it's holding it. So let's plug in a router. Now I already tested this. This depth here, see that depth there, and see my stop here is set so that when I plunge, it's going to stop here. It's going to be the right depth. Okay, and this is one of my little $20 routers. Okay, so keep your fingers crossed because you don't want to make a mistake on this. And my goal is to go around once. Okay, there's something funny going on here. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I forgot. Okay, so let's turn this the right way. Release that. And here we go. Oh, it moved a little bit. Okay, well, when you're trying to do something as fussy as you can, often there's something that comes up. And I should have put the pattern on like this, clamped it on. Now there's no movement. Of course, when I came along this backside here, now I felt it early, and it's just a little wiggle. but I've got a little bit of repair to do, and I know how I'm going to do it. Now this tabletop, once I get everything in it, and I'm going to just lightly sand it, and I think I'm going to try to give it a coat of melamine paint, because this is melamine and it's pretty beat up. It's got to look good and fancy for you guys in the videos. So I think that's what's going to happen. So the patch won't be a big deal. I could blend it in without painting it, but painting it makes it easier. So anyway, I'm going to use the same pattern. Now that bit's only 1/2 inch. I want the plate here to be sitting on more than 1/2 inch. So I moved it over 1/2 inch, and I'm going to cut another 1/2 inch and then another 1/2 inch, and then we're going to cut the plate out. Okay. This isn't a very good bit, and I'm probably taking a little more than I should at one time. But anyway, here we go. Okay, that was just the corner. Now it almost looks like I'm going the wrong way in here, but when you're inside, okay. Well, this bit is really not a great bit, so that's making things a little jerkier than they should be. Plus, I'm trying to take this in one cut, so because I had the depth accurately set, or at least I think it is. So, well, we're going to go right along here, and I'm just going to keep going. So we're going to mount. I moved the pattern over, clamped it tight again. We're going to mount the second. We're going to route the second part here, and then my groove that the plate will sit on will be cut. Okay, so here we go. Well, that's a dull bit, but we got her done. Okay, I'll bring you back when I get it cleaned up. Well, I'm switching routers, and now we're going with, here, we'll just get it exposed with my 1/2 inch straight. This would be better if it was a 1/4 inch, but I'd have to set up a router then with 1/4 inch, and this has got a guide bushing and everything, and I know it works. But I'm cutting a little more material than I would need to. So I slid the jig over, and now I'm going to do a side at a time, and I'm going to cut right through. So here we go. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around, and but I think I'm going to bring you back when it's done. Okay? Okay, and I'm just going to head down the last side here. I thought I'd show you that. I've got a little bit of junk in the way here, so that's not a good thing when you're doing this, but here we go. Okay, well, here's the piece. It came out. I went a little far at a couple of places, and here I guess I maybe wasn't touching with the bearing. I'm going to go back and do that again, just take a little bit off. But there we have a hole, and I'm going to go off camera, pull this all apart, and see how well that fits. Hopefully it fits perfectly. Okay, be back in a bit. Well, a little bit of time has passed since I last talked to you, but the plate fits actually quite nicely. Did have a little bit of, remember when I was routing and the pattern moved? That's silly me. I should have just clamped it on right away. I knew better and I still didn't do it. But overall, it's going to turn out just fine. Everything's going to be good. So it's just for the sake of the video. I hate messing up on camera. So anyway, you can see that it happens to everybody. So the plate fits. So that's the first thing out of the way. The next thing is to attach the router to the plate. Now, this router, I took the base plate or the whatever, yeah, the plate off of it. And you know, these holes here don't actually align to any holes in the base, but they're kind of close. And these holes are not ones that you can tap and thread. They're through holes. They're probably about 5/16 in diameter. And the other holes, these here, they're pretty small, and I don't want to tap a little screw like that into it. I like this a little tougher than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to through bolt it. So what I did is I made a pattern. Normally you wouldn't have to do this, but I guess when you pay $80 for a 3-horse router, you need to. The base, this could be better than it is, but it's going to work because I have it in 2 other places, so I know they work. So anyway, I'm going to drill those holes. Actually, off camera, I did a few already. I've got one left to drill, and these holes are this one. See if I can point it out to you. This one, and this one. And I've got this one to do yet. So I couldn't find the right hardware when I went to our local lumber yard, but these are way too long, but I'll cut them off. But what I'm doing is I want to drill and countersink so that they're perfect on top. That's the goal. So I'm going to drill one for you, just to make sure that you realize that it isn't all smoke and mirrors. This is not the best place to be doing this. Actually, I'm going to do this over the hole here, right like that. Okay, here we go. Whoops. Yeah, that makes an awful noise. Okay, that's the hole through. And then the countersink. Okay, and now the others I just kind of guessed, and I'm going to do the same thing here. So here we go. Okay, but don't be too aggressive, because you want to stop. I want to try to get these right, because everything else that I've said on camera today about getting things right, I haven't. There we go. That's perfect. Okay, so now we've got a base plate, and it fits into the table. I've got screws in the corner here that I'm going to thread and make so I can adjust it perfectly. I've got it as just a wee little bit low right now, which is what I want. So, and we're going to make it so that we can adjust the height. And Now what I need to do is I need to take these bolts, and unfortunately I couldn't get 1.5 inch long ones. This is all I could get. And I think these are for putting decking on trailers. They've got a self-tap a bit at the end, but I've got to cut that off and shorten them. And then this router will be bolted on, which way? Like this. Just like that. What? So yeah, that's going to bolt on there like that, and away we go. Okay, let's get this done. Well, I've been working a little bit off camera. It's just so clumsy to hold everything. So what I've done is, and one thing you need to make sure you do is that you have this centering cone. See if I can get this thing out. Oh, there's a... Anyway, you see, that's why I did a lot of this off camera. It's just awkward. So that centering cone there, see if you can see that. This cone makes sure that your plate is centered to the bit. So that means that all your inserts are going to fit. So I've got that done now, and I've actually, to be truthful, I've got it held on with 3 bolts. Now, 3 of them I have not cut yet. I'm just going to cut the one for the demo because I think you get the picture. So I had it, they were 2.5 inch, now they're about 1.5 inches. I would have bought 1.5 inches if I could have got them at the lumberyard today. But anyway, this is going to go in here like that. And I put a washer on first. I probably wouldn't need to. And then these are nylock nuts. That way everything will be locked in place. And let's see if I can turn this to you. Oops. And get this started. Oh yeah, there we go. That should work. Okay, let's burp it on. There we go. Come on, come on. Come on. It's just a little loose yet. It'll soon. There we go. Now it'll hammer. And I'm doing it left-handed, which is a little strange. Okay, so now I've got the base plate on. Basically, once you've got your holes at the right place, this is just rinse and repeat. I put the other bolts in. They're still long, so I'm going to take them out one at a time and cut them off like I did this one here. But you know what? For tonight, I don't know if you need to see that. But one thing you will need to realize is, and I realized this early on, is that this router does not fit in. Okay, it does fit this way. The cord is a little in the way here. Let's get that out of the way. So I could take the handles off, but I think what I'm going to do is I've got my jigsaw here. Whoops. I've already got it marked. I'm going to cut a little bit away here and there so it drops in and I can spin it and then it'll be done. So here's my, I love this jigsaw, but if I had to buy it over again, I'd buy the cordless version. But this is a JS470E. This is an awesome saw. So that being said, I've got it marked. Hopefully I don't cut my cord here. There's lots hanging around here. Sorry to get you my good side again, but not bad. Okay, now we'll do this one. There. There's still plenty of bearing surface for the router. Now the one potential bad thing is, no, I'm still gonna, these adjuster holes are still gonna work. So every once in a while, getting lucky is better than being good. So now what should happen is this should drop in, rotate, and sit in place. There you have it. It's in. It's not adjusted yet, and it's not perfect, but I'm quite happy with this for tonight. To be honest with you, I spent most of the day working on this, not feeling all that great today. I don't know, I should have been shingling today, but I decided no, I didn't trust myself on the roof. So I got this done. We had a few little problems along the way. This melamine is very fragile, so if you're concerned about chipping on the top and stuff like that, as I was, because when I'm shooting a YouTube video, everything has to be perfect. Well, I wasn't. But this tabletop is pretty much trashed anyway, and as I said earlier in the video, I want to make it so that it looks nice on camera. So I think I'm going to see if I can find some paint that I can paint this with and cover it nice and make it nice and white again for a little while. And I think the next time I do this, I might use some other material. But anyway, that's what I have for now. This router now, instead of sitting on this spot on top of the table, is now in. And the wiring and all that stuff I'll show you when the time comes, when I get to it. There's lots of work in here. I'm hoping you're interested in this video because there's lots of it to come. So to do this well, to make a good install, it's kind of fussy and picky. So don't shy away from it. Realize there's always ways to fix little things. And I've got a couple things here, and then the one thing I did do, which I shouldn't have done, I thought it would fit, so I tried to gently push it in, and it didn't. So when I pulled it out, guess what? It chipped off some of the white of the melamine. So I'll fix it up. It'll look good in the end. And the next thing to go in here probably will be the fence, so I can get rid of that off the floor. So anyway, that brings this to a close. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Comments are great too. A few of you have been commenting, and the comments have been awesome so far. Yeah, so continue and help me to grow this channel. So on that note, that's it for the weekend edition. We'll see you sometime next week. It'll probably be in October. So anyway, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.